Good morning, everyone. Steve Wilder here for the as mayor for the city of North Canton. Here we are, February the 24th, 2021. I think we're getting close to 25, 24 days out from spring. So let's hang in there, enjoy the sunshine we have today. It's my honor and pleasure to be with you this morning. I'll get to why I'm wearing my Kent State hat here in just a moment. Last night was the 57th meeting of the Walsh University and Malone University basketball, Mayor's Cup basketball game. It was the Pioneers prevailed last night. For both games, for the men's and women's games, it was very physical. And for the men, it went right down to the final buzzer. But congratulations to Malone University Pioneers. They defeated the Walsh University women's basketball team 84-71 last night. And for the men in the Mayor's Cup, they lost at the buzzer 71-69. So again, Malone Pioneers, you prevailed. Congratulations. And I think the coaches, Kate Bruce for our women's team at Walsh University and Jeff Young for the men's coach. You did an outstanding job. You worked hard. The kids worked hard. Some great athletes out there on the floor last night, but very physical game. But unfortunately, the Mayor's Cup is in the home of Canton, Ohio now at the campus of Malone University. So congratulations. I want to share with you something. As I said, I'm wearing my Kent State hat and my varsity K pin. My beloved coach, my soccer coach, Rudy Bachna, passed away this week at the age of 92. He died from natural causes. But for those of us at Kent State University that were in the men's varsity soccer teams, he was a beloved coach, mentor, and friend. He was my coach from 1969 through 70. I had him for 2 years. And he was also Kent State's gymnastics coach and had a wonderful women's and men's gymnastic championship teams throughout the years. But Rudy Bachna was just a fantastic person, dedicated himself to education and physical education, but also in the sport of gymnastics and soccer. So that's the reason why I'm wearing my memorabilia today. And Rudy, I take my hat off to you. Thank you for touching the lives of so many men and women in athletics and in your career with your wife Janet as a co-coach for the women's and men's gymnastics team. But most of all, those of us guys that enjoyed Rudy through the 60s and just those early years of the 70s. What a fantastic coach. Did everything he could for his players. And I'm deeply indebted to him for how he influenced me in my life. So Rudy, God bless you and the family. Thank you very much. As we're coming to a close for Black History Month, I wanted to share with you something of maybe a person that's unknown to you. And I'd like to share with you this morning about a woman, an inventor. Her name is Sarah Elizabeth Goode. Now, Sarah Goode was an inventor and an entrepreneur from America. She became the first African-American woman to obtain a United States patent, which she did in 1885. Now, she was a designer of a folding cabinet bed that is ideal for people residing in tight housing to employ their space most economically. When she built this bed, the housing infrastructure in New York City was stretching vertically. However, a law passed in the city in 1885 that prohibited buildings from being taller than 80 feet. My guess on that is they didn't have the fire service that we have today, and ladders and hoses could only reach so far in New York City at that time. So this law was implemented to fight the construction of commercial buildings that were too tall. It led to the advent of the tenement system as it restricted residential buildings' heights, which in turn made the housing structure problematic for people belonging in the middle class. In average, the tenements were about 25 feet wide and 100 feet long. In such circumstances, not even a foot of space could be wasted. So Goode had a furniture shop she owned in Chicago. And when she came to know about this issue with the space in New York from her customers, she decided to come up with a solution. And Goode's bed was a folding one and had the appearance of a roll-top desk. There was also extra space for storage. So she obtained a patent for her creation on July the 14th, 1885, and received the patent number 322,177. And her invention is currently known as the hideaway bed. It is also the precursor for the Murphy bed, named after its creator, William Lawrence Murphy. So Goode set out to design a bed in which the weight of the folding of the bed would be distributed in such a way that it could be almost effortlessly lifted. She also ensured that the bed would be stable on each side so it would remain immobile during folding. She created a supplementary support to the center of the bed for the times it was unfolded. So we're looking at a bed that folded up into the wall, not the trundle bed that went under the bed. For her family and personal life, she was born Sarah Elizabeth Jacobs in 1850 in Toledo, Ohio, USA. Goode was a second of 7 children to Oliver and Harriet Jacobs. Now, both of her parents have been referred to as mulattoes in public records, and her father was originally from Indiana and worked as a carpenter. Her birth was also one of when the Fugitive Slave Act was enacted, and she was born a slave, but Goode became free following the conclusion of the American Civil War. And at some point after that, but before 1870, she relocated to Chicago with her family. Now in Chicago, she became acquainted with Archibald or Archie Goode, who was a native of Wise County, Virginia. They had tied the knot in 1880. They went on to have 6 children. However, 3 only made it to adulthood. And in public records, he proclaimed himself as a stair builder and as an upholsterer. So Miss Goode passed away on April the 8th, 1905. Due to an unknown cause, she was 50 years old at the time. And in 2012, the Sarah E. Goode STEM Academy, a high school that focuses on STEM subjects, science, technology, education, math, was established in her honor in the south side of Chicago. So thank you, Miss Goode, for her invention. Thank you very much. Well, folks, let's get into some information I received about the COVID vaccines. Here's a short update. The Stark County Health Department shared, to date, 18,000 doses have been distributed for 1A and 1B individuals. And they're using Pfizer and Moderna as the vaccines. They will probably be going to Pfizer more in the future. Now, they still have 10,000 people in the queue waiting to be vaccinated. And that goes for myself and my wife. We are still in that queue waiting to get our tests, our vaccines for 65 plus and over. Currently, they have about 975 doses of Pfizer that are being shipped in because of the delay of the snow over the last week or so. On March the 18th, they said that they're providing a school makeup day for those teachers or educators or staff who can get their first dose. And starting today, Wednesday, at the Whippledale Center, corner of Hills and Dales and Whipple, they're issuing 600 doses for Wednesday, 750 on Thursday, 1,000 doses on Friday, and they're going to give 11,000 doses on Saturday. I just wanted to share that with you. We had discussion on scam calls and information, and I wanted to share this with you. You can report a scam call for someone who's trying to get your, let's say, your date of birth, your social security number, or your driver's license. The health department is not asking those questions. All the health departments aren't. They'll only call you back with the information that you had when you registered. But if you need to call, if you want to call, there is a local number here at the Stark County Sheriff's tip line, and that's at 330-451-3937. 330-451-3937. If you'd like to, if you feel you've been scammed for your information, please, you could call that number. The good news from Altman and Mercy hospitals, the positive cases are really trending down, and the amount of people are less than 5 on your hand there, figures, in their ICU or on a ventilator. So that's great news for them. Also, their employees are coming back to work. It's less than 10 people maybe for either hospital that might be out. And Altman, I know, has given out over 9,000 doses themselves for the 1A and 1B. From our schools, all our school employees in Stark County have been given 1A, or has been made available for them to receive 1A, and second doses will start beginning in March. And let's see, I'm still waiting to hear from the Ohio Department of Health regards to, let's say, dances and proms. Those questions are starting to surface. I know some of the schools, it's up to the schools to work some of these things out, but I'm still waiting for some discussion, hopefully soon, from the Ohio Department of Health on some of the, hopefully relaxing some of the, and allowing some things to occur for our young people. And if you still haven't registered for your vaccine, for those in North Canton, we work through the Stark County Health Department. You can call 330-353-9010. Again, 330-353-9010. And let's see here. From the governor's office, this one came in about nursing home visitations. The number of new COVID-19 cases in Ohio's nursing homes has dropped significantly to 343 new cases last week, compared to the peak of 2,832 new cases in December. Visitation is permitted at nursing homes in Ohio if the facilities meet these federal centers criteria for Medicare and Medicaid services. No new onset of COVID-19 cases in the last 14 days. The facility is not currently conducting outbreak testing, and CMS reports the COVID-19 county positivity rate is less than 10%. And that's your county medical facilities. Let's see, compassionate care. Share with you this information. Compassionate care visits, which are special visits in which a family member or other visitor provides comfort, support, and assistance to a resident whose well-being is suffering or at risk, are always permitted regardless of the criteria above. So I just wanted to share that with you. The Governor DeWine provided information on the progression of the vaccine eligibility in Ohio. Because those ages 65 and older make up approximately 87% of all COVID-19 deaths in Ohio, no additional groups are eligible for the vaccine at this time. And once the demand for the vaccine has been met for those 65 and older, those ages 60 and older will become eligible. And after a period of vaccination for this age group, those ages 55 and older will then become eligible, followed by those ages 50 and up. So we're still in a patient type of a pattern for us to get our vaccinations. Also, there's town halls becoming available for people. Actually, anyone can attend a town hall. And these town halls are about the Ohio COVID-19. And the first one was Monday, the 22nd at 6:30, and that was geared towards for African American Ohioans. And then on Tuesday, the 23rd, that was available for Hispanic or Latino Ohioans. And next Monday on March the 1st at 6:30, the Asian American and Pacific Islanders Ohioans, this webinar or town hall meeting. Then on Tuesday, March the 2nd, is for rural Ohioans. Now the question came back, can anybody attend these town halls? Absolutely, folks. But they're trying to help the people in these ethnicities and cultures. So if you want information on that, you can go to online at coronavirus.ohio.gov/town hall. You can see them on YouTube, or you can go to Facebook. So there's 3 avenues for you to view these town halls. I would try going online, coronavirus.ohio.gov/town hall. Something else that has happened recently, and in regards again to the COVID-19 response team in Stark County, they have 3 bullet points I want to share with you. First of all, they will never ask you for your social security number or your credit card information. Number 2, they will identify themselves and provide you with information that you registered with when it comes time for your appointment. And they will never schedule you for an early morning or a late evening appointment time. Just keep that in mind, please. The other thing is unemployment fraud has surfaced. And folks, I'm a victim of that. Someone has used my information and had sent it into the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services, Office of Unemployment Insurance Operations. And I have no account with them. And so I felt that I've been scammed. And so what I did was I called their reporting number. And but it's easier if you just go online to unemployment.ohio.gov. And that'll take you right to the website. All you'll have to do is click on report identity theft and follow their directions. I received I received a letter and a PIN number, which I have no reason why. And it's very simple when you go in to the ohio.gov or the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services, or just as I said, unemployment.ohio.gov. And it'll just take you to a very information sheet, ask you what your name, address, your social security number is, and where you live, and your address. And there's several reasons. There's about 5 reasons plus other that you suspect fraud. And for me, I received a temporary PIN number for unemployment, and I received other correspondence regarding Ohio unemployment. So, folks, that my name will go in the queue. We may not hear back from them right away. I'm sure there's a number of people in there, and if there was some activity for some reason in my information, I'm sure they'll let me know about it. But I just want to share that with you. As careful as I am, you have people wanting to take advantage of us in many different ways, and it's really a shame that this is occurring in our society, and there's people always out there trying to, get money. Okay, so I share that with you. There is a number that you can call, but I recommend you to just go online. And that number is, excuse me one second here, is it's toll free. It's a state toll free number, 833-658-0394. 833-658-0394. Thank you. A couple things locally here for us. Again, RETA, the Regional Income Tax Agency, they are not coming here on site at City Hall. You'll have to go online for any help through them. They can be reached at www.retaohio.com, or you can call their toll-free number 1-800-860-7482, and that'll get you to Rita. Just give you a heads up, coming up in March, Arrowhead Golf and Event Center should be reopening on March the 21st. They're taking reservations right now for weddings, showers, and meetings as we go forward. And right now, they can accommodate 50 to 120 guests to comply with the Ohio Department of Health standards, okay? I think those will be, hopefully, we'll see some allowances here in the future. Their Clubhouse Grill is going to start up also on the 21st, and that's a Sunday. And also on that day, they're going to sponsor a home and garden show, and that's going to be from 12 to 3 at Arrowhead Golf and Event Center. So if you need any information on that, just contact Deanna Thompson at 330-433-1880, and she's at extension 2. That's Deanna Thompson, 330-433-1880. So March 21st, mark that on your calendar. Today at our North Canton Cares Pantry is going to be at the North Canton Farmers Market. Again, that's from 3 to 6 today up at 1447 North Main. And anyone can come and get vitamins over the counter, medications, cosmetics, beauty products, hair dye, hair care products, cotton swabs, nail care, and much more, all for free. And it's on a limited basis, so it's first come, first serve. But again, that's going to be today at our North Canton Farmers Market. North Canton Cares Pantry will be there. Something else happened right in this time, and it's kind of cool that I think. Some of you may remember the Miracle on Ice. And the coach at that for our ice hockey team at the Olympics was Herb Brooks. And he's most notable. His achievement came in 1980 as the head coach of the gold medal winning USA Olympic hockey team at Lake Placid at the games. His USA team upset the heavily favored Soviet team in a match that came to be known as the Miracle on Ice. I watched that unfold as a boy, or as a young man, watching that at Lake Placid. So it was on February the 22nd, folks, 1980, that the Miracle on Ice occurred. And that was U.S. hockey team beats the heavily favored Soviet Union. We beat them 4-3 at Lake Placid in one of the biggest upsets in Olympic history. And the Americans go on to win the gold medal. And it was on the 24th, February the 24th, today, U.S. hockey team clinches the gold with a 4-2 win over Finland at the Lake Placid Winter Olympics. And it comes after that 4-3 win, Miracle on Ice victory post against the Soviet Union. You know what? If you ever have a chance to see the movie, it's really fun to watch. And folks, if you'll indulge me just for a few more minutes, I know I'm going long today, but for me, as we're starting to close on Black History Month, I came across this passage, and it speaks from Robert Kennedy. And let me just share it with you, if you may, because you know, the words we speak and those we hear influence and directly shape the world in which we live. And words are powerful, and last week in our nation's capital, we witnessed a clear example of this truth. 5 people were killed and dozens injured in one of the most sacred spaces in our country was desecrated. On the evening, rather than debate the cause of this tragedy, let's take pause and heed wisdom from a political voice from our past. On the evening of the tragic assassination of Martin Luther King, riots broke out in nearly every city in the United States. Fueled by anger at the murder of the leading voice for the civil rights, cities around the country burned. More than 2,500 people were injured and 35 people were killed. One of the few cities undamaged was Indianapolis. One of the reasons for this exception was the words spoken there by a presidential candidate. Now, Robert Kennedy was on his way to speak with a mostly black audience in Indianapolis when he was made aware of the murder of his friend, Dr. King. He was strongly encouraged by his security to cancel the event because of the likelihood of riots breaking out once word was spread. Kennedy ignored their concerns, approached the microphone, and shared the tragic news with the crowd. Unscripted, he delivered one of the most powerful speeches in American history, a speech credited with keeping Indianapolis from burning and its people from injury on April 4, 1968. Delivered more than 5 decades ago, it speaks to the profound divisions we are experiencing as a nation, as well as the hope of how we still can heal together. I have some very sad news for all of you. I think it is sad news for all of our fellow citizens. It is sad for people who love peace all over the world. The news is that Martin Luther King was shot. He was killed tonight in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm sorry, that's a quote as we started. Martin Luther King dedicated his life and love to justice between fellow beings. He died in the cause of that work. This is a difficult day and a difficult time for the United States. It might be a good idea to ask what kind of nation we are. We should ask what direction we want to move in. There is evidence that white people were responsible for Dr. King being killed. For those who are black, you could be filled with bitterness because of this. You could be filled with hate, you could be bitter, and you could want revenge. We can move in that direction as a country. We could move toward the country being more divided. We could move toward black people staying among blacks and white people staying among whites. The two groups could be filled with hate toward one another. Or we can try, as Martin Luther King did, to understand. We can replace that violence, that stain of bloodshed that has spread across our land, with an effort to understand. We could have kindness and love instead. Those of you who are black might be tempted to be filled with hate for white people. You might not trust all white people because of the injustice of such an act. I would say this to you. I can also feel in my heart the same kind of feeling. Someone in my family was killed. He was killed by a white man too. But we have to try in the United States, we have to try to understand, to go beyond those rather difficult times. My favorite poem, or my favorite poet, was Asiscalus, and he once wrote, "Even in our sleep, pain which cannot forget falls drop by drop upon the heart, until in our own despair, against our will, comes wisdom through the awful grace of God." What we need in the United States is not to be divided. What we need in the United States is not hate. What we need in the United States is not physical attacks and lawlessness. We need love and wisdom. We need kindness toward one another. We need to have fair treatment under the law for those who still suffer within our country. The same fairness must be there whether they are black or white. So I ask you tonight to return home and say a prayer for your family of Martin Luther King, but more importantly, say a prayer for our country, which all of us love. You should say a prayer for the understanding and kindness which I spoke. We can do well in this country. We will have difficult times. We have had difficult times in the past. We will have difficult times in the future. It is not the end of violence. It is not the end of lawlessness. It is not the end of disorder. But most white people and most black people in this country want to live together. They want to improve our lives. They want fairness for all human beings that live in our land. And let's devote ourselves to what the Greeks wrote so many years ago. They wanted to tame the savageness of man and make the life of this world more gentle. Let us devote ourselves let us devote ourselves to that and say a prayer for our country and for our people. Well, Kennedy finished speaking to a silent, sad, and reflective room, bowed his head somberly, and walked off the stage. His heartfelt, honest words saved lives. He changed the conversation, united people, and began healing. It was an invitation to shift away from divisions and hatred, folks, to cease all physical attacks and lawlessness, to reveal love and wisdom and kindness toward one another, and to extend fair treatment under the law for those who still suffer within our country. My friends, I shared this with you because I thought it was a powerful message that I think maybe we need at a time like this. But there's so much for our future. There's so much good ahead of us. And I know if we hang together and work together, work through our differences and disagreements, but also come to collaboration on things, we can move our communities forward. We can move our lives forward and our country forward. So I thank you for indulging me this time and the opportunity to share these words with you. It's not always easy being mayor, but it's an honor that I really cherish, and I appreciate your support and respect for that. And I just have great respect that our community cares for one another, and we will continue to do that to make our community better. So please stay safe, keep well, have a good rest of the week, and thank you very much for your time.